Welcome to part 4 in our 6-part series of PlayStation 3 in 2022. So far we've covered getting started, installing custom firmware and doing a hard drive update, installing webMAN-MOD and setting up the PlayStation 3. In part 4 we'll cover webMAN-MOD Wiki for covers, setting up PlayStation covers, PlayStation itself, setting up PlayStation 2 covers, PlayStation 2, PlayStation Portal on both internal and external, and freeing up the hard drive space. The first thing we're going to look at is setting up covers based upon the covers wiki. Head across to webMAN-MOD, go to the wiki page, click on the game paths and covers, scroll down. The wiki shows the folders for each of the supported systems. Take note of the PS2 folders that are supported, PS1 folders that are supported, and scroll down to the PSP section to see the PSP folders that are supported. Take note of the special notes underneath each section. Take note of the PS2 configuration information, in particular the file name formats. Some details on the size of covers, and limitations, and down the bottom it talks about the covers for ISO and how they should be named based upon which folder they're actually located in. Head back to the top and go back to the main page. While we're here, we're going to pick up the retro covers for PS2. Scroll down the page. Towards the bottom you'll see the covers packs for PSX, PS2 games. When you pull this apart, it's mostly PS2 games, only a couple of PSX covers. Because the retro covers pack's a bit lean for PlayStation covers, we're going to use Skraper. First of all, you need to go to screenscraper.fr and create an account. This website's a little bit slow because it's always under heavy load, but it's a great source of retro covers and cover information. You'll see the register button, click on that. I already have an account, so I'm going to log straight in. I'm not actually going to download anything from screenscraper.fr this time. It just shows you what's available when you jump in there. One thing you should always check over at screenscraper.fr is the server load, because sometimes it gets overwhelmed and it makes the website unavailable. Next we're going to head over to scraper.net. Once you're there, click on the download link. This will take you down to the download section. Click on download for Windows. Click on download for Windows again and wait for the binary package to download. Takes a couple of seconds. While it's downloading, we're going to go to our downloads folder, create a ROMs folder, create a PSX ISO folder. In there, put your ISO files or QBin. Extract the Skraper package with 7-zip. Once that's extracted, go in and start the Skraper UI.exe. Once it starts, log in with your screenscraper.fr details. Click on Validate. Click Next. Select Generic Emulation. Click Next. Set up your ROMs path. Include subfolders. Click Next. Click Next to select the default options. You're ready to add your first system. From here we're going to change the default media types to 4 mixed images and 2D box color. Next we're going to add a system. Click Add, scroll down to PSX, click OK. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is change the way it matches it by just looking at the file name. Click on Game and Front End. Change the folder to the folder where you created PSX ISO. and then we're going to change the game and norm file type extension to remove.bin, so it only looks at the .q file and doesn't give us 2 entries. From there, click the play button. Take a few minutes to download the covers depending upon how many you've got. Sometimes it can be pretty slow. If you've got hundreds, expect it to take an hour or so. Once it's finished, click the tick button. From here, we're going to use PS Cover Basic to size the covers. First, let's have a look at what's been downloaded. Go into the PSXISO folder, into the media, and you can see the box 2D covers and the images that have been downloaded. What we want to do is copy the box 2D cover contents into the input folder of PS Cover Basic. Start PS Cover Basic, select 3 for PSX, pop up the folder, delete any legacy images you had in there, paste in the box art, turn back to PS Cover Basic, hit return. It'll pop out the images in the correct ratio and in the correct dimensions. Cut them and paste them back into the PSXISO folder, and from here quit PS Cover Basic and delete the PlayStation.dat and media files, and from here copy the folder back onto the NTFS drive so I can copy it onto the PS3. Next section, we're going to copy the files and set up PlayStation. First thing we're going to do is go to System Settings and disable Autoplay. So when you mount the image, it doesn't start the game automatically. From here, we're going to go into webMAN-MOD, go into Refresh Game and XMB for the purposes of discovering the files on the NTFS drive to show what happens when you try and mount one of the images. Take a minute or two. Once the XMB is reloaded, go back into webMAN Games, have a look at the ISO images that are now for PlayStation. Covers aren't available because we need to manually copy those image files into the temp folder. Select the image, have a try to load it, and eventually you watch up here, it will bomb out. It's not 100% what the actual problem is there, but it's not definitely usable off the external drive. From here we're going to copy them to the internal hard drive, go into RSMan, go into the file manager, go to the NTFS drive and select the folder that you've just copied across. Copy the files. It'll take a few minutes depending upon how many you've got. Once you're finished, exit out of RSMan. From here, we want to go in and refresh our games list. So webMAN setup, refresh webMAN Games and XMB. Once again, I'll take a minute or two. And you'll see the covers have now been discovered. Select the game. We'll now go to the process of mounting the ISO, and the ISO appears in the XMB. Before we actually get into it, the first thing we do is set up the memory card. So go up to the memory card utility. Once there, create new internal memory card, pick PlayStation type, and OK. Okay, that was automatically assigned to slot 1, but you need to swap between that and a PS2 if you're running both game types. Go into game settings. You want to go down to the upscaler and turn it on, but leave it as normal. And we want to turn on smoothing as well. From here, go back to the disk image, select the image to launch the game, and away it goes. There it is there.
Die, monster!
Next we're going to go on with the PlayStation 2. First thing I want to do is install the Retro Covers package, downloaded previously. Copy it across to your packages directory. Once you've finished copying, exit out of IrisMan. Head up to the package manager. Install packages, new system storage, go down and find the Retro Covers, install the package file. Take a few minutes. While the covers package is a fantastic package of PS2 covers, there's an issue with the aspect ratio. So we're going to go in and copy all the files across to the external hard drive. The install directory is BLES 80608 covers_retro. Copy that folder across. And once it's finished copying, plug it into your PC. So there's a few PS1 covers in here, we need to sort them out. The easiest way to sort them is to add a filter in the Explorer so that you can view them by size. So go into detailed view and change to dimensions. Now you can see the dimensions. Do a sort by the dimensions. Then copy and paste the covers that are in a relative PS2 dimension, i.e. not square like the PSX covers. Honestly, you can effectively copy all the covers across because there is very limited PS1 covers in the package. Once you have them copied, put them into the input folder of PS Cover Basic. Right, that's the few you'll have left at the end. And then go upper folder and hit the start.bat file. Select 2 for PS2 covers. Okay, it'll pop up the input folder. Hit the enter button, and this will take a while. It needs to go through and convert all the covers. And there you'll have the covers with a added transparency on either side. So select all the covers and copy them back into the external hard drive. Once they've finished copying, eject the external hard drive, plug it back into your PS3, go back into IrisMan, go to the file manager, go back to the install folder, which is game, BLES 80608, user directory. Okay, go across to your NTFS drive and copy the folder back across. The next thing we're going to do is install PS2 config. This provides all the configuration files for the PS2 games that are compatible with the PS3. When a game is launched, it will match the game ID in the game file name against the PS2 config file and copy it into the location. While in this example we use the external hard drive for PS2 games, I highly recommend using the internal hard drive if you have the space. Next thing we'll set up is the PlayStation 2 games. Now, if you go back to the wiki, you can see there's a link on the PlayStation 2 section to this configuration database at Aldo's Tools website. Search for the game that you're trying to work with and it will show you the title ID. This title ID is important and must be included in the file name. Here's the example here. I've used SSX. You can see the IDs that are compatible. So go into your folders and start renaming your files. Another way to identify what the game ID is to mount the image. Have a look in the root directory of the mounted image. Okay, once you've got that, don't forget to eject the image before you try to rename it. As you can see in this example, I've copied the image ID out. I'm going to copy that and update the name. There you can see the game ID is placed in between the square brackets. And this is how it matches both the cover and the PS2 config file. Next thing we're going to do is set up the PS2's images that you have on your hard drive using PrepISO. So go to your install folder and install the PrepISO tool. Again, I've found when using PrepISO with external for the PS2, it often loses the images NTFS files from the temporary folder, and it is best to run it on internal drives. Okay, now that's run, we go into webMAN Games and refresh the game list and restart the XMMB. Next, we need to set up the memory card and launch the PS2 games. First, let's check the results of the scan. We now have a PS2 folder which contains the PS2 games. You can see because of the game ID, it is matched. Okay, so we're going to select copy and launch by clicking on it, and it will start copying files to the internal hard drive. If you have them installed on the internal hard drive, which I recommend, it will already be launched. So this will take a few minutes, and while it's taking its time, let's go up and create a memory card. So go up into the memory card utility. You can see the PlayStation 1 card. Let's create a PlayStation 2 card. Once you've done that, we'll go back and we'll actually insert the PlayStation 2 card into slot 1. Once you've assigned the slot, head back, go down to the now mounted image file and click on it to launch the ISO.
I have so far to go.
Next we're going to go on with PSP. First thing we're going to do is install the launcher. Go up to the package manager, install package files, go into the internal storage, go down to PSP remastered launcher and install the launchers package. You can see the icon down the bottom now. From here we want to go and copy the PSP files. In this example, I'm going to use the external hard disk. Like the PlayStation 1, we're going to download the covers using Skraper. So copy all your ISOs into a PSP ISO directory. Once that's done, go on to Skraper, start the Skraper UI. Once we're logged in, I'm going to add a new Skraper category for PSP. Scroll down, it's in the handheld section down the bottom. There it is. Click on PSP, click on OK. Okay, now we're going to set it up. Go look at the media first. So we're going to use specific, we're going to create the title screenshot and the box art. Okay, we're going to set up the folder. Make sure it's the PSPISO folder. Okay, hit the play button. After a few minutes, it will scrape all your cover art. From here, exit Skraper. Go into your ROMs folder, the PSPISO folder, go into media, get the box art. So we need to use PS Cover Basic again to add transparencies down the side. So from here, go back into the PS Covers, start the application. Okay, select A for PSP covers for NTFS drive. Okay, the input folder will pop up, paste them in there. Go back, press enter. Difference is the file name will include .iso.png with the PSPISO and square brackets at the front, which is compatible with the method that's used to set up the NTFS files to redirect back to these covers. Once you've got them, place them back in, delete the DAT file, and delete the media folder. Now copy all the files back to the external hard drive. Paste them in. Next, use PrepISO to create the .ntfs files. Once that's completed, go to webMAN Games and do a scan. Next, we're going to copy the covers that we created with PS Cover Basic into the temp WM temp folder. We'll point out though that if you have your PS2 games on the external hard drive, I did have a problem getting the covers to show. Once the covers are finished copying, head back to the XMB, go on to webMAN Games, and once again hit the refresh games and XMB. Once that's completed, go into webMAN Games and you can see the games now appearing. Now, due to having the PS2 files on the external hard drive, I think there's a memory issue that's preventing the covers from being shown. Next, we're going to use PSP off the internal hard drive. So in this example, once again, I'm going to use the PSP Cover Basics input folder. Here I'm going to paste all my cover files. This time, once we start the program, we're going to select 4. Once it comes up, press enter. It will convert all the files. The output file name this time matches the ISO image. From here, copy them back to the folder on the external drive, PSP ISO. Disconnect your external drive, head back to the PS3. Now copy all those files from that folder to the internal hard drive. Go into the NTFS drive. Select the PSP ISO folder and copy that across. Once that copy is completed, exit IrisMan, go across to your webMAN-MOD, and you can see all the games. Noted I had about 200 in the folder, and only saw about 95 of them. Select your ISO. Once that's done, it says use PSP Launcher to play the game. Back out, go down to the PSP Remasters Launcher and launch the title. The first window that will pop up is this one. 2 options. Select the PSP Remasters option. And away you go. Now, very similar to the PSP and PS2, it uses the PlayStation 3's internal memory, but you don't have to insert a memory card.
Vor langer Zeit lebten die Menschen glücklich und zufrieden. Niemand bemerkte den Schatten, der sich langsam über ihnen ausbreitete.
Next time, it won't be so easy.
How lovely. A fitting girl for Count Dracula. Now,
last thing we're going to do is reclaim some of the space on the internal hard drive. Head over to the Brewology store, click on the Homebrew section and scroll down. Looking for is PS3 Unlock HDD space. Should have an 8% symbol on it. There it is there. Click on that. Download the package. Once that's downloaded, copy it to your NTFS drive. Eject your drive, insert it into your PS3. So a quick look at the before and after. So scroll down to System Settings, go all the way down the bottom to System Information. There it is there. You can see we've got 431 gig free. Go to your IrisMan. Use the file manager to copy it across into your packages folder. Once that's done, exit out. Head up to your package manager. Go to install package files from system storage. Go down to PS3 Unlock HDD space. Install. And you've got the new icon on the desktop. Go into that. Run it. Once it's complete, let's go back and check the storage. It's again, system settings, down the system information. And you can see there's now 494, it's freed up 64 gig. Well, we're going to end it there, and I'll see you next time.